It's strange how a single moment in a marriage can feel like the ultimate test. A moment where you either walk away or decide to outplay everyone else in the room. That's exactly where I stood the night my wife dropped something so unbelievable, so far beyond the lines we had drawn together that I had to stop and ask myself if she'd lost her mind or if she'd been plotting this from the start. My name's Jason Miller, born and raised in Chicago, the type of guy who believes in hard work, keeping promises, and protecting what belongs to him. Wasn't flashy, but I'd built a good life, solid career in tech, a nice home in the suburbs, and a marriage to a woman I thought I knew inside and out. Her name was Lauren. From the moment we met at a networking event downtown, she struck me as this fiery mix of charm and unpredictability, American through and through, with a love for pushing limits, sometimes in ways that thrilled me and sometimes in ways that made my gut knot with unease. For the first few years we were solid. Sure, she liked to try new things, role play, costumes, experiments, and I went along with most of it. Figured that's what kept the spark alive. But one evening right before our anniversary, she sat me down with that restless energy that always meant a bomb was coming. I expected maybe a trip, a new hobby, something light. What I got instead was a proposal that made my pulse thunder for all the wrong reasons. She told me she wanted to spice things, her exact words, by inviting someone else into our bedroom. Not just anyone, man. And not just any man, but Mark, her so-called friend from yoga and the activist groups she'd been hanging with lately. The way she said his name, soft, casual, too comfortable, made the hairs on my neck stand up. I just stared, trying to process. So let me get this straight. You want me to sit there while you hook up with Mark in our bed? Rushed to explain it wasn't like that. That it was about exploration, about breaking free from outdated ideas. Asked her point blank if I could bring another woman into the mix, and she immediately backpedaled. Jason, that's different, she said. Yeah, different. Sure. Every part of me wanted to shut it down right there, but as she kept talking, I started to wonder if this was more than a fantasy. Something in her eyes told me she and Mark might have already crossed lines, and this threesome idea was her way of making it official. So I made a choice. I could blow up the marriage right then, or I could play along, flip the script, and make sure they never forgot what they were asking for. I forced a smile and said, "Okay, let's do it." Lauren lit up, truly believing I'd agreed. She began planning everything, the night, the theme, even fits. She bought herself a black leather dominatrix getup and a latex superhero suit for Mark. I told her I'd stick to normal clothes, which only made her clap her hands like a kid. She had no clue I was already working on my own plan. Over the next few days I installed hidden cameras in all the key spots: living room, kitchen, bedroom, even outside, and got myself something extra, an industrial strength laxative. Not the polite kind, the kind that kicks the door in. When the night came, Lauren left to pick up Mark, giving me half an hour to set the final traps. Locked the only bathroom from the inside, slipped out the window, and sealed it behind me. I poured wine for the table, spiked it with enough laxative to floor a team of athletes, and left a note saying I had a work emergency but would be back soon. From my car a few blocks away, I watched the cameras. Lauren and Mark walked in, laughing, spotted the note, and after a quick call where I encouraged them to start without me, they settled in. First it was flirting and smug grins. They poured the wine, toasted to new adventures, and began slow dancing. And Lauren disappeared upstairs, reappearing in that leather outfit. Mark squeezed into his latex suit, looking more like a sad balloon animal than anything bold. And then it began. Lauren's smile cracked. She pressed her hand to her stomach. Within minutes she was racing to the bathroom, only to find it locked. Mark tried to help, but trapped in skin-tight latex in his own pain he was useless. A loud, unmistakable noise echoed through the room as Mark doubled over, clutching his gut. I nearly choked, laughing in my car. In desperation, Lauren clawed at her outfit, but the zipper jammed. She bolted from room to room before spotting a decorative vase in corner. That became her throne of shame. Meanwhile, Mark stumbled outside, still trapped in latex, eventually ripping it open with a tree branch so he could crouch behind one of my prized evergreens. By the time I got home, the scene was perfect. Mark was collapsed under the tree, wrecked. Lauren was perched on the vase, red with humiliation. I didn't even need to say just a few sharp remarks about them wrecking the house the way they'd wrecked the marriage. That night I left for a hotel, videos safely backed up. The next morning I sent Lauren a teaser clip of Mark's latex disaster. Later I slipped the same clip into a private group of her activist friends. The roast that followed was brutal. By week's end, Lauren called asking for a quiet divorce. She thought she'd rewrite our marriage on her terms. Instead, I gave her a night she'd never forget, just not for the reasons she imagined.